Hi everyone, got a bit of a repair job to do today. We've got our Honda quad and the bearings have gone in the rear axle. We had a Honda before this one and that one did exactly the same, and it's a bit dirty in here. It's dry but dirty, so I've got to just give it a bit of a clean out. And bearings are gone in here, so the plan is to strip it all down, and basically what you got to do is take the wheels off. I'll take the mud flaps off as well, and but yeah, take the wheels off, then take the sort of hub off there, and then remove the side of the brake sort of drum, and then it should basically slide out. There's a couple of big nuts to do this end here where the brakes are, but yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but I'll get it cleaned up and we'll get it stripped down and do it. We've got a kit here from Honda, basically all we need to do it. So what I'm hoping is that last time we did it, I didn't realise till it was too late, and the axle was knackered, and we needed a new axle as well. But this time I'm hoping, because I caught it early, there's not too much play, or I'll have a look in a minute when we got it jacked up and the wheels off, and we'll see how much play there is. But yeah, so what we've got is a double bearing, which is, that goes this end, and then a single bearing this side, I think, from what I remember from doing it last time on the old quad. And these are the seal kits to stop the muck going in there. So one for each side, and that's what I first noticed, was there's the seal. So that's shouldn't be out there like that. So now that's allowed the muck to go in there. But I think the reason why the seal is forced out is because the bearings are gone. So yeah, so that's our kit, and let's see if we can get it together. There's that bearing, or the double bearing, that's joined together. So that bearing and that bearing, the two kits, £150 that lot cost, which is rather a lot of money, I think, but still, if it fixes it, hopefully it'll all be good, and we won't need an axle. Because I think if I buy an axle, that's like another £250 on top. So fingers crossed. Let's get it stripped apart and see what it's like. Right, it's going okay. Haven't been here very long. Probably I've barely been here an hour, I would have thought. And there's the movement in there. So took off these two. There's two big nuts that go on there to hold it all in place. This end feels alright, so obviously I replaced all the bearings, but that ain't gone. I've taken off a ring of bolts there because that hub separates now, and that's got to separate to allow, I'm pretty sure the axle comes out that way. So by separating this and taking it off, I think I've got to take the brake cables off. So by doing that I can get it all separated. So I'll take the brake cables off a minute, and then I've got to take that hub off, and then it should come apart, and then we can have a look. Right, so just going to take off this castle nut here that holds the hub on. There it is. That is one of the main advantages of having an impact gun, in my opinion. Stuff like that makes that really easy. So yeah, that makes that so much easier. So that one slides off, as easy as that. Right, so we put that there. I did give it a little tap just now from that side just to get it moving, and as you can see, that lot now is sliding out and separating there, so I should be able to knock the axle now right through. Right, I've knocked that back and it's coming out, so we can lift the whole thing out now. Right, there we are. That's the axle. It's designed so that it just comes apart and it's all dry. It's just splined with a torch. It's just splined in there and all dry. So now I've just got to decide on if we need a new axle, and got to knock all these bearings out, and it doesn't look very good to me because as you can see there, that the inside, the inner racelet has been running around there, so it's grooved. So I think the axle's knackered, so I need a new axle. So that isn't going to get fixed today. Now I was hoping to just take it all apart, put new bearings on and stick it back together, but that's not looking very promising now. So yeah, new axle. So I'll go and get that ordered up, and I'll let you know how much it costs when I put it all back together. We've got our new axles delivered, and it wasn't as much money as I thought it might be. I was anticipating it being sort of like £250, but I seem to remember the last one we bought was for our old quad, but this one, it's not an original part, but it was £133 plus VAT, and we had it sent next day delivery. It did come the next day, but it was too late yesterday to start putting it back together. So a new one, or a genuine one, was £166 plus VAT, which I didn't think was too bad, but I'd have had to have waited a week to get it, so we've just decided to go with this one, so it should be alright. But yeah, so next job is to put the bearings in. We've done the bearings in the brake system, so that's to go back on, and then there's this double bearing here that's actually joined together, so they're so that now has got to go in there like that, so we're going to do that in a minute. And when I took it apart, I've got a manual for it, a workshop manual, but it's not particularly helpful, and I couldn't remember taking it out last time, but then it's quite a few years ago. It's like a little snap ring that goes in there just to hold the bearings in place, and that had to come out first before the bearings would come out. So just got to clean this up a little bit, put some grease in there, and then we can start to reassemble it. Right, we've got the bearing in and the snap ring back in. So next job, there's the old bearings there, so they were well and truly done for, and the seal as well. But right, so we've got to put some grease on here now. It says to put grease all on that O-ring and on these splines, and then it should slide in, so we'll do that in a minute. Right, so we've done that, so now in theory it should just slide in. Right, so that's it, back in. We've knocked it in with a block of wood, piece of hardwood, and it's all there, so the seal will go in there in a minute. And got to put the hub back on, so I can do that in a minute. The brake hub, and it's coming together fairly quickly now. Yeah, so that's just going to slide in there onto the splines like that, and then next part is the hub. We put a new bearing that has gone in there and a new outer seal, so that will slide on there. That might need a tap on in a minute because it's got bearings there. That will pull in by the look of it, so I'll pull that in with the studs, and then we've got the two big nuts to go on there. And we just now, I was reading the thing and it said we had we've got just sort of normal lithium grease here, but it said we needed moly grease, so that's what we bought. Went and bought a tub in the sort of local motor spares place nearby and did that, and as we've sort of done it all by the book, and hopefully it'll all be alright. Right, it's all done. Wheels are back on, the seal is in there, done up there, and put Loctite on those two nuts. Brakes are back on, I just got to adjust them in a minute after we've driven it, and put the mud flaps back on in a minute. But yeah, it's done and hopefully alright now. Quite pleased with what we've done. Got to make a new bracket. The clips are gone here, so I've got to make a new bracket for the thing. Did it last time and put in a tube in there to stop it, but it's rusting anyway. But we're going to give it a bit of an oiling up underneath in a minute. It ought to be cleaned off really as well. But yeah, so I've sort of done it myself because once before, when the old quad was exactly the same as this, just an older version, and the people we bought it from, I asked about it and they were just like, oh, you can do that yourself, and I wasn't sort of too keen on the idea because I didn't really know what to do, and he explained what to do over the phone, and it was fairly straightforward. It's taken a bit of time, but as I say, straightforward, and I did buy a workshop manual for it, which sort of helped a little bit, but it wasn't too much information on it. So yeah, it's done, and I probably saved quite a bit of labour. The bearings and the seals were 150 quid, the axle's like 130 quid, so yeah, that's excluding VAT, so we can claim the VAT back. But yeah, so probably the labour, I don't know, probably be a couple hundred quid, I expect at least. Yeah, I don't think you'd get it for much less than that anyway, sort of 200-300 quid. So probably the parts and the labour probably about half and half. So yeah, anyway, we've saved a bit of money and done it, so hope you've enjoyed watching that, and I'll be back with another video soon.